I am so excited, guys. My name is Sky. This is Marabella. We are doing the first episode of the Raw Magic podcast because it's
Yay!
so much more than just the food, right? Raw vegan food is what we eat, and
Right.
it enters you, and this is why I stay raw. It enters you into this reality that is like it's like child's play. It's like so fulfilling. The universe is singing, I'm singing, and yeah, we're here to talk about it.
Yay! I'm so excited. Hi, Sky. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I pulled a card today from, it's called The Magic of Unicorns to get us started.
Oh,
Unicorns are so magical. And this one says, Magical Crystal Cave, switch on your inner light, bring forward your gifts.
I
And
love
that is so perfect for today and talking about your inner light. And I wanted to kind of start out with kind of like how this started. Sky and I did a podcast on her channel in the very beginning when we first got connected, and we were talking about the magic of pretend and how, like, as children, we don't pretend to be a doctor. We are a doctor. So, showing up as that which you wish to become has so much magical power. And that just took me back to a time where I think when I kind of began my work with like the law of attraction, raw foods, all the same thing, they just came like one after another. And I was in this really uh, horrible kind of like relationship where I gave my power away. And I had a counselor, a therapist. I didn't have her very long because she moved on, like she was doing so much in her life. But she told me to like ask for what I want. And that was the first time I thought, wait, I can ask for what I want. I get to choose what experience I want to have. Like, it's a choice. And that brings us back to having like the raw foods, because we can choose this experience. And when we do, it really brings out our light, our vibrance, our happiness. And I wanted to talk to everybody about auras and reading auras, and like, why would you want to do that? But the example that I want to give of that is that I was walking. I live in the Pacific Northwest. Typically, we have snow, but we had this drizzly, rainy, like misty, dark, kind of gloomy day. But I was walking in nature with my dog, and I just felt so connected in, because I know that everything has like a spirit. Everybody has it, or not everybody, but everything, all the trees, all the grass, the leaves, the flowers, it all has like this beautiful alive vibration. And so I just slowed down and kind of tuned into the tree, and I was looking at the tree's aura, and I felt so connected in. And so when I came home, I started looking at the aura of like a pineapple, and then I looked at the aura of a lemon. And when I looked at the aura of a lemon, it was crazy, Sky. I'm like, this must be what it feels like to be like on mushrooms or something, like a hallucinogen, because I could see the aura. It was like a purple. And then when I moved the lemon away, like the aura followed it. And I was like, this is so alive. This is alive. This is like raw and alive. And when we eat food from the tree, like high in a tree, like the lemons are high in the tree, it gets all the sunlight. And so all the sunlight, all the good little frequencies and everything from the sunlight are in the lemon. And so we eat that. And so we vibrate at a higher frequency. And so I just was like blown away by that. And so I for our very first podcast, I wanted it to be very lively, very fruit centered. And so when my counselor moved away, but I realized that I could speak what I wanted. somehow a juicer got gifted to me, and I started making carrot apple or carrot orange juice. And my point of the story is, when I started taking responsibility for my thoughts, my own thoughts, what I wanted, my life started to shift. And when I started to decide what I wanted to put in my body, I wasn't raw vegan at that time. I didn't know what that was, but I started adding juice every single morning. And it just changes. It makes your life change to where you feel good on the inside, and then you're going to attract that from the outside. So I wanted to hear your story, Sky, of like the magic, where the magic comes in for you.
Sure. The magic to me, and this is why I just like love sitting in this space, because yes, we come to raw because we want to fix something that's like stuck physically in our bodies, right? But to truly experience raw, you've got to sit in this space. This is like the life, this is like the purpose. And I really feel that it was, because I hear no symptoms in 6 weeks. It felt like when I ate raw foods, I was sick for 32 years, 60 surgeries. I've had 7, 8 organs removed. I've really been through it. And it felt like it wasn't so much the nutrients in the food as much, like over time they build up, right? But how did I feel so instantly well? Like within a couple of days, going from plant-based to raw, it wasn't like it fixed everything instantly, but I'm like, I'm going to hang the washing out. Never would I ever. I was so sick, I could barely get out of bed. Yes, it took 2 days till I got it back in, but still that meant something to me. It never felt like if you gave me pills with the same nutrients in it, that's very drying, very taxing, very dense. And I think because I'd had the functional neurological disorder where I couldn't concentrate, couldn't read very well, I was so disconnected, I could just feel things. And I'm a real empath, ADHD. And if you can harness those sensitivities into sensing out, like actually true, it's like whole feeling good, like the whole picture feels good. Like you eat it, it feels good. The next day you feel good and you build on that. But it felt like I was putting packages of light energy in my system. And as long as I put the light in, I was going to get well. That's the message. And that's how it felt. It never felt you've got to eat carrots, you've got to eat beetroot. It was not. And we live in a society that thinks this. And when you free yourself and just eat the light packages, very quickly, I was well. And not only well, I don't cry very much. I think I've been scheduled 5 times, 9 psychiatric hospital visits. One was for 10 months. I've really been through it because of what I went through. And I feel like I just don't cry. The music, and we've spoken about this before in Make Believe, where I made believe myself well. As in, like, I would put songs on that I loved. Like, I would shake it off, and just get everything out. But I found healing with smiles and giggles and laughter was just so uplifting. Like, because when a child gets mad, it's not like psycho-aggressive. Does that make sense? Like, they will just vent it. And people often laugh at children when they get angry because it's almost like cute aggression, right? It was almost like if you sit in that energy, you can tap into the space of the light foods, the light energy, your light body, your inner child, but that make-believe realm where I would imagine I'm dancing on a stage, just letting it all out. Like, I felt like at that stage, the whole world had watched me be that sick. You know, everyone around me knew I was sick. What's the difference now? Free yourself, let it all out. And in fact, I was thinking the other day, Maribella, the salad that saved my life, that's on Jillian's channel now.
Yes.
And that's really taking off. And I've posted it on this channel.
Yes.
And when I healed myself, I made believe so much because I had no one around me. I had to make believe friends too, right? So I would imagine when I was making my salad each day, and that's how I think I started taking photos, is that people were watching me. Like, I was filming and people were watching me. And it's only come back now that, like, I'm actually able to help. Like, I've been helping people as much as I can, but when that video comes to life, I'm like, that's what I always imagined I was doing. And there I am actually doing it.
Oh, that's so amazing. That's so amazing.
100%.
Yeah, I love that.
So it's really just about, well, this is why we do this, right? It's about the magic.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, and so that just gives me the chills, like, to hear you say that this has come back around. Like, I'm getting full-blown chills, like, that's so incredible, and
But
that's
don't you
part.
reckon the universe starts moving you? So at that time, when I started
Yes.
imagining this, is when all of a sudden I had these urges to take photos with my camera, like with my
Uh-huh,
phone. So like
uh-huh.
it doesn't, you have to, and this happened when I juice, because juicing, when I did my juice cleanse, you it, you don't just get the gift from the universe. It happens very quickly on juice. You watch the universe start bending, and
Yes.
raw foods does that. You watch people start coming into your life, you watch your behaviors just naturally start getting excited in different areas. But when you juice, the bending is very clear
Yeah.
and very apparent. And the more I was manifesting, as I was juicing, like writing things down and thinking about what my future wants to be and saying them out loud, like the rule of threes by Nikola Tesla, where you say 3 times, a day, and you say the words 3 times, and he manifested his life out of the rule of threes 3 times a day.
Oh,
Anyway, besides that, is I remember when I was juicing how obvious it was that everything was starting to shift. Like, and you know what, you may go down a bit of a road which you didn't want to go down, but when you end up at the destination, you only got there because you went down, some dead ends or some big hills or some big challenges.
yes. Yes, yes. So with that relationship, it was very like a smothering, very confining that I allowed. So when I started juicing, I noticed a shift in myself and I ended the relationship. But
Oh.
it was through having, I mean, the juice wasn't why I did. It's just the juice filled me up with magic, I say with magic, and I saw like a different reality. It's like the lights came on. It's like I was more alive and awake and alert. And it's funny because I would pretend with different things too, in order, because I was so shy. So in order to like move into where I wanted to be, I had to project myself. And so I would practice too. Like I would practice in the mirror. I would do like pretend I'm doing makeup tutorials or whatever. Anything to just
Yes.
get me talking.
And I think when you do these things, the reason children love make believe is because that part of their brain has not closed off yet. So they have that, like, it's like a free spirit. As we grow,
Yes.
especially hormones come in, it becomes very solid and very dense. And
Yeah.
children do it because it makes them feel good. And feeling good makes us attract more of what we want and deserve, right? And what we want, the life we want. And when I do like dancing, I'm letting out like frustration, or I'm making a salad and pretending people are watching me learn. And the reason I did that was it was so obvious that had been so sick and this was healing me. So I'm like, I've got to share the word, but it makes you feel complete. And that's
Oh,
why children do it, right? Is they want to be, and I did this a lot when I was little, is my grandpa, it wasn't very common back then, but he had a big video recorder back in the 80s and early 90s. And every day after school, when I was little, I used to dance up on his garage and pretend it was a stage and boss my sister around and he'd help me make boxes into things. And then he'd record, and there's hours and hours of videos. But I didn't do it because I really wanted to create a future. I did it because it filled my cup. Like it
yes.
filled me completely to imagine I'm dancing with my bears in front of people and bringing my
Oh,
sister. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we
yeah.
lose that. Yet that is like what, when you think of being a child, we probably think, oh, things were easy as a child, but we had that component so full inside us, perpetuating our dreams. And then somewhere along the line, everything gets so heavy and dense and fear. To me,
Yes,
when we shut down, we get fear driven. And I think
100%.
another thing I just want to touch on before I finish here is
Yeah.
how one of the worst things you never want to do, which will stop you manifesting and getting your life, is to believe that others have power over you. So a
Yes.
lot of the time we're like, school did this to me, mum did this to me,
Mhm.
doctors did this to me, government. The more you give away your power, the more that will have more control, because that's what you're telling the universe. You want them to control you. You've got to take it back and go, hey, you know what, man, I was sick, but to be fair, plants were always around me.
Uh-huh.
Now I just listen to them and eat them, right? It's
Yes.
my choice to listen to these people all my life, until the right time came. And because I have my power, I own my future. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really important, is when because little kids really, I mean, their parents tell them what to do. And it really, the choice they come in listening to parents comes from love. They
Mm-hmm.
love and look up. But as time goes on, it's like almost like we feel like we're being dictated to constantly. And we have to find a way to release that to get our power back.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I love how you said that. What did you say that again about the power? If you have, what was it that you just said?
Was it about not giving your power away?
Yeah. Yes. Not giving
Don't
your
give your
power away.
power away.
Right.
That's what,
Right. If
and
you
people
have your
think like,
power,
yeah,
you have your
people think
life. Is
like,
that what you said? Yeah.
yeah, if you have your power, you get to create the life of your dreams. And also, I think, was it about your future? Like, if you have in the past said, they were all my choices, that's all my decisions, your future's all your choice and all your decisions. If you have any fear that somebody controlled you in the past, and have a hyper focus on it, you'll get a block. First off, you'll keep hitting a wall with a block because you're like, I can't do that because of this, I can't. But if you're like, hey, I chose all that, so I'm
Yes.
going to choose my future.
Yes. Right. Right. And something it goes right into something that I said yesterday, which is whatever you're going through, ask what the blessing is in it.
I love
Because
that.
when you ask what the blessing is, it shifts your energy and then you'll get downloads and it's easier for you to move. When you're a victim of it and it's the worst thing that you've ever done and you hate it, then you're stuck. But if you're like, how is this for me? What are the blessings in this? Because sometimes we start at a place and then we move to a higher vibration and then we just help others with that. Or sometimes it's for our own development and our own good and we see it later. And there's always a silver lining somewhere. And just by asking, it allows for the universe to show us where the blessings are and to shift into, and then we'll be able to shift into that higher vibration, into the blessing, to be the blessing for someone else. So, and to be the blessing for ourselves and to receive our blessings. So
True.
always say, how is this for me? What is the blessing in this, or something like that?
And
And
oh, sorry.
oh no, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, any like really hard time that I've survived, if you hold on, it will give you the greatest strength you've ever known. You don't let these things be something like, I had this happen, therefore I'm broken. You really have to, as you said, like, I think that's the only way I survived, is when I like look back, I'm like, I could not do what I do now if I had not been through those experiences. In fact, I'm about to do a podcast after this just about thyroid function, because I
Oh,
let my thyroid health go when I went raw. I wasn't having iodine or selenium and I suffered. But when I'm speaking on it, I'm actually got written down all about the thyroid. And the reason is, usually I will speak openly about hormones, mast cell activation, chronic fatigue. I could talk on almost anything because I had it for so long. I've read so much about it. I've lived through it. But thyroid is something I've never had to face. And so it's interesting, what I'm saying here basically is most of the knowledge I share now comes from all my hard times.
yes.
So
Yes. Yeah, and it's interesting how, like, over our lives, you get little bits of things. Like, at first, I released dairy, let go of dairy, and I noticed my skin cleared up, and I noticed a change. And then adding in the juice, and then much later realizing about raw vegan, and then it's great how if you stay open to what is, like you said earlier, just okay, this is what is. Okay, now I'm going to choose what is. This is what is. This is my reality, but now I'm going to choose my reality. And that's what I think of as magic. Like, I think of, I feel that, that we're here on earth to enjoy life and to have a magical existence. And we get to choose what that looks like. Your magic might be different than mine, but, we sharing in the raw food, it really does. Having the raw lifted me even faster. Like, meeting you, Sky, was such a huge blessing. I just love you.
I love you
And
too.
being
I'm so
able
glad
to
we
do
met.
our podcast together is so fantastic. I just love it. I brought along some pineapple today, which I also feel is super high vibrational food. The yellow, just
It is.
so
It's
good.
electric. It's just,
Electric.
it is
Yeah.
electric.
And I wanted to, oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, there you go.
Oh, I was just going to share. I was talking about the auras, and why I would bring that into our podcast is that a great place to start if someone is feeling, depressed or not feeling very, very good. I think somebody in the chat was saying that they were feeling stressed out. And one of the things that you can do is to step out into nature. And I feel like nature is magic. You can step out barefoot, and when you step out on the earth on your bare feet, our bodies go into like a natural resonance, which means we are the way we're supposed to be without having, Wi-Fi around us or cell phones. And just stepping on the earth can bring us back into a calm, centered space. And with the auras, it's just kind of a fun thing to do. It opens up your intuition, and it helps you be more aware of that everything around you, like you're not just the only person on the earth, but there's people around, there's trees, and there's nature, and to feel more tapped in, that helps to connect you in with the divine. And I just feel like, I mean, if you've ever gone out and talked to a tree or hugged a tree, there's so much therapy in that and so much healing in that. And so with the auras, it's just kind of a fun exercise to do. I don't know if anybody's interested in reading an aura, but if you look closely at the lemon, and you can even like come into your heart center by putting your hand on your heart and maybe breathing through your heart, imagining that you can breathe through your heart. And when you look at the lemon, or you look at a plant, you kind of look at it, and you can practice this, at home, but you look at it, and you look at it until you see kind of like a white glow around it. And you can close your eyes and then open them again really slowly. And sometimes you'll see like a white line around the lemon. And if you look hard enough, like I'm looking right now, not hard enough, but if you look long enough, that color in the white will change. Like right now, it looks purple to me. I don't know if it does to anyone else.
So I'm thinking, do we grab our own fruit and try this? Is that going to be easier?
You can grab your own fruit and try it, or you can look at the camera if you can get close enough.
You know what this is making me think of? How we that's happened to me in my life a lot, but then it's always like, Skype, come back, concentrate. You're off daydreaming. Like, I feel like we have all these abilities that we've been like pulled back in to not focus on what comes naturally. Hang on, let me get some.
Yeah,
I think
yeah. And so she brings up a good point about, like, say, meditation or not being able to keep our focus. And that's the beautiful thing about nature, is you don't have to, like, you can look, so you can look around the lemon. You don't have to stare in one place, or like when you go out in nature, if you're trying to read the aura of a tree, you can look up and down the tree. You don't have to like stay focused, because for some people it doesn't work. They don't want to stay focused. Our brains want to like go and see things and do things. You can look all around the lemon. You can move the lemon, so you're still focusing, but your eyes are moving. Yeah, I see it immediately.
I feel like I need to sit with this, as in, like, because I feel like maybe, tell me if I'm wrong, when you first start doing this, if there's lots going on, your mind gets pulled. And because I've got like lights and I've got comments and I've got you.
Oh, right.
I'm doing like maybe until I get used to it, if that's something I need to do.
So you can ground first.
Yeah, I'm thinking I need to go outside.
Go outside or come into your heart space. Walking outside barefoot is good. Walking on the beach. Just being in nature will ground you. and then
Yeah.
just and then practice.
That's what I'm going to do. I
Mhm.
love this. It's so interesting. You actually said something when you were talking before about how you first cut out dairy and you started to notice a difference. And
Yes.
I bring this up a lot. I'm someone who says go slowly. Don't find this lifestyle, be eating a heavy diet and be like, I'm going to juice and then that's going to fix everything. And the reason being is I'll give you an analogy. It's like if somebody had never seen the sunlight, So you've got a lot of people, Australians, and we go quite brown and we're used to the sun and we can stay out for a period of time. And then you've got someone who lives in such a cold climate, right? They're like, I want the sun's rays. Now, the sun can make us feel good and it gives us vitamin D and it makes us feel, when you see people who've been on holidays in the sun, you'll see that they're more alkaline, their hair's fairer and their skin's more tanned. And they look healthier. But if you get that person who hasn't slowly introduced themselves to sunlight, showed a little bit of their body or maybe, went out for 15 minutes, came back in, they'll burn. Like the
Yes.
person will just burn. And to me, it's the same sort of thing when it comes to the raw foods is the harder you dive in, the bigger the burn. And then you start thinking, I don't like this. And then people go all the way back and then they feel terrible. And then they're in this battle. You're
Yes.
better off working at like letting go of, I always think letting go of processed food is massive because when I let go of processed food, I could see very clearly meat did not belong on my plate. Like it was just, I feel like that chemical stuff can really cause confusion in the brain. And I think when you go vegan, going vegan is really important, but why you go vegan? Like even that guy, I always think if you go vegan out of like anger, that will always be your anchor point for it, like that real anger. And yes, there's many reasons to be angry, but it's about sustainability. Like even I think about this is just my opinion, that Seaspiracy guy who left veganism. If you can go vegan because something shocks you, but you've got to stay in it for love because the brain, it's pain. Suffering is pain. If your brain sits in pain, it eventually subconsciously has to stop you being in pain because pain equals death. Whether it's something you've seen. So it's about baby steps, right? It's about seeing something for what it is. It's whole, it's clear, it's love. If it's love, it's sustainable. And I just wanted to give that like sun analogy because we're talking about sunlight and sunlight grows food. And it's the reason this whole planet is alive. You take away the sun, we die. But that doesn't, it means slowly and slowly because you want to in, 30 years from now, still be able to go in the sun, not have skin cancer. So it applies everywhere.
Yes. So I always tell people that I went raw vegan overnight, but I really didn't. I tuned into the fact that I wanted to stay raw vegan because I tried before and I wanted to stay. And so what I did is I made my intention to stay raw vegan. And then the next day I woke up and I went raw vegan, but I had already given up dairy. I had given up coffee. But I agree. You want to listen to your body. And so you want to
But you also went back to high raw, right? And that's so fine. Like that's so fine. You want to be in a situation where high raw and raw suit you, whole food, plant-based. But if you shock yourself and come from a place of like just cutting everything you loved out, which without learning a skill set along, I learned so many skills by cutting out coffee and dairy and processed food and then meat. And then I sat in that space for a while and then whole food, plant-based, and then raw. Once I found raw, it was overnight because I had to, but all of that was the reason I could go raw, right? Is I learnt skills that kept me on track because then you'll learn them the next time you cut out something. You'll be like, okay, this is what I did when I got rid of the coffee and the meat. These are the skill set I have.
Right. Because each piece you don't realize has a lot of times, at least for me, has an emotional component to you. So the dairy, like cutting out dairy for me, I felt better, but it was like not having ice cream with my kids or having a vegan ice cream or having something different, or just now we don't have it in the house at all. But that was a step. And then the coffee was a step. Getting over that was a step. And so imagine if you cut everything out all at once. You might not be very happy, but
that's ascension, right? Is
right.
like anytime there's even like when you hear about the Masons, there's like levels to
Yes.
these experiences, and you can't
Yes.
skip a level, and you can't
Right.
jump up and be on the top level. And
Yeah.
ascension, the ladder and the stairs, is the reason you can survive on the next level. And I talk about this like in gaming. The reason you
Yeah.
can do level 10 is because you got through level 1, you got through level 2, and it takes ages. And by the time if you put someone straight on level 10, they don't know what to do. They end up like, and you don't enjoy it either. Like if you put someone on level 10, they're so overwhelmed in a game, they don't have no skills, they don't know what they're doing, and they'll say, I hate this. And that's what happens with raw foods. It happens with everything you try and do in life. And I always say this about Olympians. Someone wants to become an Olympic swimmer. You can't just put them in the Olympics. They're training from when they're young. There's someone who loves the water. They love swimming. They're training morning, lunchtime, dinner for maybe 15 years.
Right.
And that's why I really was so real when I got on this lifestyle about how I taught myself to be the turtle or the tortoise. I can't be the hare, because every time I'm the hare and I start running somewhere, I always end up going all the way back or sabotaging. And the more I just rinse and repeat, I get these little steps. And sometimes you go a couple steps back, but then it's not so far. You haven't fallen so far. So
I love that. I love the turtle analogy. Yeah, that's great for even with developing spirituality, or like, reading the auras of the lemon. So great to start with baby steps. And yeah, because each step teaches you something. It's really good for you mentally. And then you can kind of tune into how doing different things make you feel. Like for me, I felt my skin clear up when I went off dairy. It felt amazing. And then adding the juice in, that's really where I started. Giving up dairy, adding the juice in, and feeling like electric with the juice. Like that will go with me. Even though I'm back high raw, that's a choice. So I went from raw, I went back to high raw, which just means for me that in the evening I'll have like cooked vegetables or rice or something like that. But in the day I'm full raw to have like my full energy. But I know, like, I'm making this choice. I know how it feels to be on both sides. And so it's like a choice that I'm making of my own free will, and knowing what it's like to do both, knowing that raw feels so good to me in the day, and then high raw at night feels good to me.
But also, that, as you say, is I am not here to judge someone's emotional component. So a lot of people feel more connected to their family because they have some steamed vegetables with their salad. They feel more grounded, or it's winter and it makes them feel comfortable. We're not talking about like total sabotage here. We're talking about some steamed vegetables or quinoa or lentils or whatever it is. And when you get to a place where you make that decision, you're like, I want to sit in this space. That's kind of where I feel I am at with my food. And that's where I always wanted to be at, where the food is not just my thought that I need it and there's a nutrient in here that I need, but where do I want to be? Like, I always think about it like it transports me into different dimensions. That's what food does. It's like a dimension pick. Pick your own dimension.
Right.
And, and sometimes I don't want to be floating around. Like, I love juice after I've trained. It hydrates me. It makes me feel electric.
Yes.
But when you juice, like I juiced last week, and you feel like that at night, it's not the best thing. Like especially in winter, if you are wound up and electric in winter, it's like you're a circuit who's not discharging, and the environment's kind of not matching. Like, you're very light and outside's very heavy, and there's nothing wrong with sitting in that. But when you choose your own adventure with the food, I love doing that.
It's like food is our medicine. Sky, can you believe, just a side note, the other day it was snowing and now it's like 54 degrees outside here. It's so crazy. Our weather in Washington State is so crazy right now.
Is that hot or cold? Jillian was saying the same thing. Exactly the same
so It's not hot, but we usually get very, very cold here, cold enough to snow. Like it'll be in the 20s or maybe the teens at this time of the year. So now it's at 50. I don't know what that would be in Celsius, but it's like
Well, I was
sweater
thinking
weather.
the dehydrator, it's going to be 20, right? Because if 100 degrees is about 40 something, then halve that in the 50s, you've got to be in the early 20s, like 20 degrees Celsius.
Must be. Yeah, I should look.
Uh,
And it's just crazy. So my eating is, I'm eating for the weather. And I I think I mentioned to you last week, I was like all on fruit, and I'm back to fruit again because usually it's so cold here, and that's when I want to have, like you said, the steamed vegetables and the rice or something like that, or potatoes. Yeah. Oh, we just have degrees. Yeah, it's 50 degrees. So
no,
it's
50
it's
degrees
not
back.
hot, but it's nice for now.
Right. So, oh, what was I going to say here? Oh, all I do actually sometimes in winter I go on like 10 days of just fruits, like really light fruits. And what I find is because we still can get quite warm here in winter. Like I live by the beach, so the sun in the midday is still quite warm. What I find is if I can get in the right space, it can amplify the sun, as in like I'm getting more benefits. But I feel sometimes that I'm swayed a lot because I am online so much and all you guys are in the opposite season.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I also think that I get a little bit influenced by you guys in your fruit era and
Yeah.
summer. Everyone is summer and I'm like
Uh-huh.
dead winter. I'm like, I'm just going to do some mandarins and apples for a few days just to like pick up because monkey see, monkey do, right? That's another thing. Is
Yes.
surround yourself with people who bring out the best in you. I mean, you guys are influencing me to eat fruit. I do not think that is a bad thing at all. So be careful who you watch because you'll end up doing it, right?
It's like attracts like. It's like that
Yes.
energy. And I never felt better than in the wintertime when I just ate grapes all day. Like that's just what I wanted. And the next day I woke up, I was so productive. Like I made
Yeah. Yeah.
videos and I just got so much done. But then I get to a point where I like need some grounding. I feel like I work myself out. Like,
Yeah. You can almost feel like a fuse is about to go, that the body
yeah,
gets so wound up. And
right.
I get if you lived in the tropics and you're grounded all day, like,
Yes,
your feet are on the ground all day, you're touching plants, you're having like denser fruits.
you're on the
But
sand or something.
yeah. But
Yes.
then when you're indoors a
Uh-huh.
lot and you're eating fruits which usually aren't picked fresh, and
Right.
sometimes they're not even local, it's like a
No.
different experience. So we've got to kind of do a bit of a push and a pull when it
Yes.
comes to that. But there's some comments that have been coming up.
Yes.
So I saw a video, I think I saw this video of a big tortoise that got flipped over and another big turtle came along to help flip it back over. So isn't that beautiful?
Oh, that's so beautiful.
That is so
Um,
good. Animals, we have so much to learn from animals. And like
you
sitting in nature can feel uncomfortable when you first do it. But I
uh-huh.
healed a lot. I would spend 16 hours a day, raw food in my body, outdoors, whether it was walking, whether it was the river, ocean. I'd walk from beach to beach just to keep my body moving outdoors in the sun and grounded, sometimes part of the way with no shoes on. The longer you do it and the more you stay off technology, the
Yes.
more you see an incredible universe come to life. Like you literally just the ants moving along the sap and pulling away a little bit of leaf or moving down and passing the leaf on. There's a whole world out there, right?
Yes. Oh, amazing. This end of the summer, somebody brought in a turtle to our office because we live on a lake. And so I had this turtle in a box and I drove it home and then I got to release it into the lake and it swam out so happily and then it swam back to say thank you, it seemed like, and then it swam off and off it went. It was the best
Oh,
experience ever.
I
I'll have to
love
send you.
that.
I made a TikTok about it. I put it on my Instagram. It was because turtle medicine, turtle energy is like slow and steady, like you said. So if you see a turtle, it's like the invitation to just slow down, ground, take it easy. Know that you're going to
Yeah.
get to your destination, but you don't have to hurry. There's no rush. I love turtle medicine.
It also reminds me of, because I've been in some pretty dark places and I was homeless for a period, about how even when our biggest fear is, and I've probably faced it, is to lose everything, right? That our structure of reality, where you lose your family, you lose your home, you lose your sanity, you know,
Yes.
you don't have any money, you've got no access, you can barely read or write. But the most interesting thing is how the universe will hold you. Like when you have nothing and you think nothing is there. So I say nothing, but there's so much there. Like just sitting and appreciating. It's not even appreciating. You'll find that and people just cross your path who gift you things right in the right moment of time.
Yes.
And the universe was probably like that. We are at a big force, right? We're really forcing through with what we want and building things, and unless we maintain them, nature basically takes them over. You know, that's the whole thing. Nature always wins. If you leave a building, nature will, whether it starts with mold and little bugs and then trees grow up through, unless things are maintained. And the same principle applies when you think you've lost everything. You realize you can't lose everything because something's always there, and that something that you didn't really see becomes so full of life. Like the sun and the moon cycle became so important, like just so driving for me. And then just smelling things, and when people passed me by and would give me things, of course there's people who didn't. Or I remember being in this hospital where I couldn't get in contact with my family. I didn't know how to charge my phone up. And these two gentlemen with the most brightest blue eyes I'd ever seen, both elderly, randomly came up to me and go, I want you to know you're going to be all right. I think I looked really, really sick. And I was carrying around my suitcase, which had all my stuff in it. And I had had a seizure and I had to move to another part of the hospital, which when I had FND was almost unbearable. And I remember the first one did, and another gentleman as well. And their eyes were so bright. That's all I remember.
I wonder if they were angels.
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, like I feel like, and it was just like, it's something which someone could say to somebody any day.
Yes.
But when you hear it in those situations,
yes,
it's like, and it was a belief too that the universe was still holding me, you know, like these things happen. So it's like,
yes.
Maybe they were raw. I love that.
I love that too.
From my memory, they both had accents, European
wow.
accents.
They were
like,
raw angels.
Yeah, like German or I don't know. Like I don't know all the accents, but European. And they were older, like grayish. But
Someone
these
says,
eyes.
now you have those eyes, Sky.
Oh, yes. Oh,
yes, she does. She does. She's an angel.
Yes. Maybe that was it. Like that like connection, like they're like, oh, I love that. Thank you. That made my day.
And another reason to go out in nature is that I just learned of something called animism, where everything has a spirit. And so if you believe that like the trees have a spirit, the grass has a spirit, you never are alone. Like you can even listen to the wind and hear messages, or you never know who angels might come up to you and give you a message, like with Sky.
This kind of reminds me of, I don't know if anyone's read anything by the philosopher Descartes, where he talked about animization or anim.
Yes, I just learned that word, animism. I just learned that.
And this is before we knew about the soul, and it was and really about how organs worked. And he said that everything has it, and that's what drives everything. But he was in a very dense space. I think it was a very dark thing as well. He did a lot of I think he did a lot of autopsies on like dead bodies and stuff, trying to get nerves and stuff to move. But it's like the principle, right? It's the only time I've heard of it before.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I'd always thought that. I just never heard like the name for it.
I love that. I love that so much. So is there any if we're starting out trying to see auras, is there any basic steps that we can do that are going, like where we can go to read about how to do it, or is it just practice will work? Or
yeah, it's it's pretty much just practice. You can probably
Yeah.
find answers out there, but the most important thing is you want to like go into your heart space. So you want to like sit quietly, go into your heart space and breathing. So taking some nice deep breaths into your heart space. And if you work with chakras, you can also work with your chakras. Maybe next time I'll take us through, before we start, chakra meditation. That helps too. But even just going from your heart space, and then you'll close your eyes. And when you open your eyes, you'll look at the object, and you can look all around the perimeter of the object. And you have your eyes open, but they're almost closed. And you'll start to kind of see a fuzzy line around. You'll want to start with a piece of fruit or a tree or something. You can look on your pet or your family member too, and you'll see like a white line. And then the more you practice, you'll see like a color. You can also work with your hands and kind of spread your hands apart and look in between the webbing of your hands. That's a good way to do it.
And what about what the colors mean? So you're seeing a lot of blue. Is there somewhere we can look what each color means?
Right. So if you're seeing somebody with an orange aura, we'll start. So, okay, we'll start at the bottom. I'll go like with the chakra colors. So
Okay.
like at the base of your pelvis is a chakra, a spinning chakra. We have chakras that come through the center of our bodies, and they're spinning energy centers. So at the base of our spine, like at the top of our pubic bone, are the red. And so if you see someone with a red aura, a lot of times they can be angry or scared, or, very, very like have a lot, like a ton of energy, like maybe a ton of vibrant, it could be angry energy, not necessarily, but sometimes. And then you could possibly see an orange. So if we go up to between our pubic bone and our belly button is the orange chakra. And that, a lot of times, if it's bright and brilliant, it shows someone with a lot of like sexual energy or a lot of vibrance, a lot of just aliveness. If it's a little bit more murky orange, it can be feeling stressed out, feeling, having a lot of problems or feeling stress. The yellow is what my puppy has, and that's a lot of joy. Yellow shows joyfulness. That goes with our solar plexus chakra, like confidence, joy, happiness. If you see like a green or a pink, that's a lot of times to do with the heart chakra, which is healing. A lot of times healers have a green aura. The blue that we were talking about, or the dark indigo, kind of lighter blue, is more connected to the divine. That's why I saw the lemon as having like a purple aura, because it's like citrus is connected to the divine, almost angelic, like an angelic fruit, because it gets the most of the sun's rays. So, and then sometimes there's like a clear aura or a white aura. If someone's super spiritual, they might have like an indigo or like a white aura.
Wow. Okay, so I had somebody actually work with me because they could see my aura, like wanted me as their health coach, and said that I can see mine, but I was told it's blue, really blue, and then like splashes of color like come out like the side, but mostly blue. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't 100% know what that meant, but also I have a lot of lemon ginger blast. That could be blasting out of my body.
Yeah, like the lemon, right? Yeah, it would be interesting to have somebody before juice and then after juice. So we'll try that one day.
But isn't this like Carillion photography? Can't that read auras?
Right.
Isn't that
Yes.
the aura reading machine? I saw one when I was at the Crystal Castles up in Queensland. I didn't have it done, but like I would love to have like something like that, done. Also, I see a girl do readings online of auras. And she talks that this, a lot of people have, and I don't want to get into too dark, whether we'll just touch this, have this like black murky haze.
Yeah.
Like there's color that come through as well, but there's like a black, and she talks about like them not really being there. And I guess doesn't what's her name? The girl who lady is it Doreen?
Oh, Doreen Virtue.
Yes, and she talks about, is it I'm sure it's Doreen Virtue, or is it another lady? Doris. Well, who's Doris?
Oh, Dolores Cannon.
Dolores
Yeah.
Cannon talks
Yeah.
about how there's non-player. Is that non-players? Is that what they're called?
NPC players.
NPC players, where you can be in an environment and there's a whole lot of people there, but they're not really there. And I don't think that means it in the way we think, as in like they're zombies type thing, because I feel like there's times in my life where I'm so distracted, I'm not there, and I would probably be an NPC player in life. Like, you know, where you're so like, I think of it more like that, but that's kind of what I think is
and then I think with a not NPC player, maybe we're all somebody's NPC player. Like we're living our life, and then the other people are NPC, and then we're NPC in their life.
Yes, like something that's just like not ever involved. Like I do think that. I also like what she said, just touching on animals, about how she says, because it's hard when you go raw vegan to feel everything and understand where everything has a place, and animals being dressed up like by people and being pets and stuff was kind of like, is that how it's supposed to be? Aren't they supposed to be roaming free? And I've heard her talk about how animals' consciousness isn't like ours. It is in a pack or a flock of birds, or a pack. The birds all fly and flock together because they're one consciousness. They're not aware of themselves like we are, unless they choose to have an experience with humans. They start to develop their own consciousness. And that made me feel a lot like I get their purpose now, because you know how you question a lot of things, like, you know, you become vegan and you become raw and it becomes really apparent, you're like, shouldn't they just be roaming around? But it's like they want this experience.
Yes, right. Yeah. And then there's also that thought that like our pets, like they come in, like we've made a pact before they've come in, and they know that they're going to be our pets, or they're here for a reason. Like my other dog, she was very much my protector, and I have no doubt that she's in the other realm protecting me. She was very fierce companion, like protected me, barked at everyone that would come near me. And so I just have a feeling that, you know, she's up there doing the same thing, protecting me. And
I love that. That's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, this has been so beautiful. I also would love to hear in the next time we meet, just about all the different realms, because
yes,
I've done some work with spiritual healers who talk about like my higher self, and they've got things for all these different realms where things are going on. Especially like I've had spiritual surgery a lot to fix things which have been broken in a different realm. And spiritual healers or guides have to come in and hold space for her. She holds space for them to help fix things where the soul's been damaged. You know, I always say this is why I love raw foods, is I felt like most of my life something went wrong and they would just chop it off or medicate it. But these two aspects were never touched, like the soul and the consciousness, right? And I feel when I got on the raw foods is everything was being fixed together, the soul, the consciousness, and the physical body. And that keeps me whole well. It's very different than, you know, you got a problem with a finger and chopping it off, or like having a cyst or something and taking it out. What caused that? Why did I project all that energy into, you know, that area of my body? So that would be cool to.
Yeah. And it goes along with speaking what you want, like we talked about earlier, and manifesting and speaking to our bodies, asking our bodies what our bodies want. What are we feeling? Why are we feeling this way? Where does the root of this come from? And speaking into our bodies, like, I'm beautiful. I'm so healthy. Like they listen. Our bodies are listening to us.
A lot of love. I love you. I'm grateful. I love your hair. I love your skin. You get me well. All of that stuff, because then it also becomes your default talk. So when my brain goes quiet and starts to chatter again, it's usually like, I love this. I love you. I love like, because that's what I always practice.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And now you're saying I love that. See? All the love.
Love it.
Guys. Oh, this was so incredible. We'll be back next week we'll talk on the different levels of like the soul and the spirit, I guess, next week.
Different
That's all
levels of
right.
the soul and the spirit, the different dimensions of like the
Yeah, and even like the
fairies and
fairy
the
realm.
angels and
Yeah.
different realms. Yes, it's so great.
And I'm about to jump on and do a live now, make a recipe and talk on thyroid health. So if
Oh,
anybody, yeah, because I've actually, I can't believe how much the physiology of my body has changed just by adding in iron. I was struggling. I was hardly eating and gaining weight in like problematic areas. Like I would
yeah.
just get fat here, fat around my stomach, and I'm thinking my body's craving estrogen, but that is going to start stimulating the pituitary and also the adrenals, which I think the thyroid was slowly just diminishing in its ability to regulate because it works with the hypothalamus in the brain. So anyway, I'm going to talk about that because it wasn't just that. This has gone on for a while, and my blood test showed lower thyroid functioning. Nothing dramatic, but in my experience, if low thyroid if something shows on a blood test, you've already been suffering. Like in
Okay.
my experience, if it starts to go into a red area, you've already felt the effects. So I have really been working on that. So I'm going to talk about that.
Oh, I can't wait to hear where you get your iodine. So yeah, I have a client at 2:30, but I am gonna watch you until I have to go.
Sure. All right, guys.
Bye,
Love
you
you
guys.
all.
Everyone in the chat. Love and prayers to
Bye.
you. Love you.